Today we're talking all about Kitec plumbing. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me again this week. It is a pleasure to have you tuning in each and every week. This topic is not the coolest topic I've talked about, but I think it's necessary because there's a lot of homes in Hamilton that have Kitec plumbing. So I just kind of want to break down what it is, if you have it, and how you should deal with it. But before I do that, I want to direct your attention to the description below. In there, you will find a link that will allow you to book a call with me directly at a time that is convenient for you. Let's jump into this Kitec plumbing. What is it? What's the problem with it? Is it a big deal? So it's basically a PEX plumbing that was run from 2005 until 2007 in homes. It's predominantly blue and orange. The problem with this plumbing is it's known to corrode and burst, and the lifespan on it is about 10 years. So if you had a house, if you did it in 2007 and you have Kitec and it hasn't burst yet, like that's pretty great. But I would think about getting it replaced or at least inspected and looked at. So the reason it was even used in the first place when it first rolled out in 1995, because it's that PEX flexible piping, it's a lot easier to install for plumbers to run it through homes, number one. And then number two, it was cheaper than copper. So you were able to plumb houses for less or do jobs for less. As well, it was used for like it's your drinking water line to the showers, all that sort of stuff. It was used for underfloor heating as well, and it's been used for baseboard heating in addition to those things. So that's essentially what it is. Again, I want to promote that the years that it was used were 1995 to 2007. It was actually recalled in 2005. However, contractors continue to use it for an additional 2 years. I don't know if it's because they had extra supply they wanted to get rid of and they didn't know that it was recalled, or they knew it was recalled and they decided to use it anyways. I mean, I can't imagine a contractor ever doing that, but it was used until 2007. So if you were from 1995, 2007, your house was built, or you did a renovation during that period or had something done, I would definitely just take a quick look to see if you have it. One common place that you can go to check it out, and we always look, is what's connected to the water heater, what's under your sinks. Just see the type of plumbing there. If you see an orange pipe for the hot water, then there's pretty strong chance that you have Kitec plumbing. As well, some of the ways that you can tell is the writing on the plumbing. So I'm actually going to pop it up on the screen, and I guess I can try to read them in case you're listening to this. So if you look on the actual piping, not the fittings, because it's PEX piping with brass fittings. On the piping, if you see, I mean, you might outright see Kitec plumbing on it, say the word Kitec, or Ambio Comfort, Aqua, Kerr Controls, Kerr Controls, IPEX, Plumerie Ameliori, which I don't know, sounds French to me, Plum Better, Warm Right, XPA. So again, you know what? We're going to pop them on the screen, and I'll pop them in the description below too, just so you can check it out. As well, there's also brass fittings that connects the plumbing, and on there you might see Kitec, KTC, or CSA B137.9/10. So if you're listening, write that one down. And as well, the fourth word you might see on there is ATSM F1974. So I'm going to put these in the description so you can check them out, just in case you need to double check that you have Kitec plumbing in your house. And as well, another way that you can check, although this is probably common now, but if you open the electrical panel door, there would be a yellow sticker. And if it says caution, this building has non-metallic interior water piping, then you may just want to check it out. Metal piping was commonly used to ground the home electrical systems, but Kitec, because it's PEX, is not used to ground it, so you know that you don't have copper in your house. That's just one way to tell as well, but you may want to check that out. As well, there was a class action lawsuit against Kitec plumbing that was won. So if you have experienced a leak due to Kitec plumbing, you can actually be eligible to grab your share of that money. But if it hasn't leaked yet, then you aren't quite eligible. So some important things that I think you should know about Kitec plumbing from either a homeowner perspective or you're looking to buy or sell a property is, number one, it's got a 10-year expectancy. So if you got Kitec in your house right now, I'd be getting personally just like a little bit antsy about it. And think about replacing it, just because you don't want to come home from a vacation to that burst pipe, or come home from work and your basement's flooded. Better to be safe than sorry. Number two, insurance companies, how is this going to affect your insurance? So if you have Kitec plumbing, you want to make sure that your insurance provider knows it, because if you say that you don't have it, like if you just say it's a regular PEX pipe and it bursts, your insurance company is probably not going to cover it. And you do have Kitec plumbing to let your insurance company know, they are probably going to charge you a higher rate for it because it does have that higher risk of exploding. Now, another thing I want to point out is, in terms of buying and selling Kitec plumbing, should you be scared? So you're buying a house, you do an inspection. Should you be scared about purchasing a home with Kitec plumbing? Well, not all the time. Like our team, we did have a deal fall apart on it, but we had a house last year. I think it was last year, 2 years ago. It was in the, it was last year. It was in the Meadowlands, 2-story home, about 2,400 square feet. The quote to replace all the plumbing was $18,000. And as now you can, like a buyer, you can use that as a bargaining chip to either say, hey, we want $18,000 off the house, or we want you to replace the plumbing by, a qualified contractor, show us receipts, invoices, all that stuff, that the work's been completed. I personally wouldn't let it deter me, especially if you really love the house. If there's another option and you can avoid it, that's great. But if you really love the house, I wouldn't let it deter you. I would just say, make sure that you budget when you purchase. You're either going to have to replace it, and I recommend right away, or you have the seller replace it before you move in. But I don't necessarily think that it should devalue your property. In fact, if I were to price your home and it had Kitec plumbing in it, the quote was $18,000, I wouldn't price your home $20,000 less. I would price it for what it should sell for, and then we would let a buyer come in and decide whether they want to pay less because of it, or they're willing to assume the risk. And if you're buying, definitely a home inspector should pick this up. Any qualified home inspector will. The first time I ever found out about it was in a home inspection, and I'd never actually heard of it. He said, there's Kitec plumbing in here. And I said, oh, is that bad? This was my first year in the business. And he said, yeah, it is. So, and that's also something with using an experienced agent, because now I can identify it by looking at it. But that was the first time that I found out. So a lot of people don't even know they have it, or know what it is, or know that it can be dangerous. Well, not dangerous, but it can be known to explode. So definitely you're going to want to check it out in your house. If you have that orange piping, take a look at the labels just to double check. And it's not always orange piping. It can be blue and red as well, we've seen, but orange is the dead giveaway. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me again this week. It is always a pleasure to have you tuning in, either on YouTube or online through wherever you listen to your podcasts. But once again, thank you, and I look forward to talking to you again next week.